Hey guys, welcome back to This Week in the Premier League, a series where we discuss the best and funniest moments from each match week. Let's start off with Manchester City versus Tottenham Hotspur, which ended in a 2-2 draw. In my opinion, easily the best match of the weekend. Manchester City had 30 shots to Tottenham's 3, which shows that they were dominant, but overall the level of play was much higher than anything else we saw. Some big talking points include Ederson's massive mistake, where Lamela took a shot from roughly 25 yards out, and Ederson was caught way off his line. Huge mistake. Probably the worst one we've seen while he's been at Man City. And it was just an error that shows kind of a lack of focus and just bad positioning by Ederson. I think that was important to cover because we haven't really seen him do that. And there's a theme this week with goalkeepers messing up, if you get my drift. We'll talk about it later in the show. Next, we have VAR controversy again. So, as many of you would know, going into the final minutes of the match, Manchester City scored a goal via like a corner kick, and it was ruled clean by the referee, but right as City were in the heart of celebration, thinking they had won the match with the final goal, Gabriel Jesus was absolutely ecstatic. The refs ruled it back and said there was a handball by Laporte that deflected the ball into Jesus, so the goal was called off. And it kind of frustrated the City players, it frustrated the fans, it frustrated almost everyone unless you were a Spurs fan. If it's not clear and obvious, no one has any idea why they're calling it back. It should only be used, in my opinion, in the opinion of many others, on clear and obvious calls. That wasn't a clear and obvious mistake, so it should have been left. And it was a little tidbit that if we hadn't even looked back at the replay, no one would have noticed. Finally, we had the Pep and Aguero controversy. It's not that big of a deal. Obviously, they're fine now. Pep talked about it after the game, but it was kind of funny, their little spat or argument during the match. Okay, we don't know exactly what they officially said, but I think it went something like this. Hey, Pep, do you like my shoes? To be honest, bro, no, I don't really mess with them. What, bro? What are you talking about? These are pure class. Look at these. Fire. No, Sergio, those cleats are just disgusting. I like cleats like my title races, boring and bland. Anyways, that takes us on to our next match of the week, which is Liverpool versus Southampton. In the first half, Southampton came out strong. They dominated the chances. They were creating chances left and right, putting Liverpool on the back foot. But it was a goal by Sadio Mane in the 46th minute that really took Liverpool, they took the game by the scruff of the neck. And it was an absolute screamer from Mane, and it set a tone for the second half as Liverpool came out firing, creating loads of chances. You've seen crazy passes in behind to Firmino, a back heel from Mane to Firmino. Eventually, Firmino did get a goal. And going into the 80th minute, Liverpool felt confident and it looked like they were going to have an easy win. Well, then Adrian decided to pass the ball literally to the other team's forward. Not sure what he was doing quite. He could have opened his hip and played out to his right back. But instead he said, I'll just try and meg the forward on the other team. And it looked like he literally passed it to him like Danny Ings was Virgil van Dijk. I know Danny Ings did used to play for Liverpool, but it's been a minute now. Is there a curse with Liverpool goalkeepers? Because unless your name's Alisson, then you have Mignolet, you have Karius, pull up the Karius crying face, and then you also have Adrian now, who have all made major errors. Obviously, on a more serious note, the mistake by Adrian really shows Liverpool's just their missing link at goalkeeper without Alisson, and they're gonna need him in order to win the title race. So I would say if Alisson's not back in the next month or two, they could be in lots of trouble because dropping points, though they didn't do that this week, could be huge in the title race considering how close it was last season. This takes us on to our next game, which is Norwich versus Newcastle. And if there's one takeaway from this match, it's Thibaut Pukki. He's insane. I didn't know much about him coming into this season. I had seen him on boards about who could be some very good strikers that are under the radar. And then I saw him play against Liverpool, and I was like, this guy is a solid player. He really understands the game well. He gets great opportunities. He makes really smart, well-timed runs. that gets him great chances on goal, and he finishes them. And he showed that with his hat trick. He had, in my opinion, the goal of the week with a volley that was just perfectly timed from a looping ball. In terms of Newcastle, it talks really about the state of Mike Ashley and Steve Bruce. And in my opinion, they can't do it. Like, Mike Ashley should not be in charge of a club, and Steve Bruce is just not the man for the job. You saw the defense that had been so strong under Rafa Benitez get folded by, although Pukki is a great player, by a championship side from last season. So it's like giving up 3 goals to Norwich. Like, what's going to happen when you face Liverpool? What's going to happen when you face Man City? It was pretty shocking. Norwich was all over Newcastle, and it really doesn't give them, like, it doesn't give me any confidence, even though I selected them to survive the season. I honestly, after a match like that, relegation just looks like the only option. I'm not going to change my prediction from before, but that's what I'm seeing after that match. Now let's move on to Chelsea versus Leicester. And it was really a game where Chelsea dominated the first half, Leicester dominated the second half, and it was really a great example of Chelsea's youth and inexperience. Obviously, the better, more talented team by far than Leicester. But what we saw was that Chelsea kind of left, like, they just kind of checked out in the second half and gave Leicester tons of opportunity to get back into it. Chelsea is more competitive with the Leicesters and the Evertons this season than they are with the Arsenals, the Uniteds, that lot of teams. I don't even think they're going to be in the competition for the top 4. I really think they're going to be hoping to hold on for that 6th spot. If you disagree with me, let me know in the comments. Also, comment like where you think Chelsea will finish. I've said 6th, but I could see them dropping to 7th if they really don't turn this around quickly. Anyways, let's move on to our final match of the week, the one that was most exciting for me, Manchester United versus Wolves. And why I say it's most exciting for me is because I'm a Manchester United fan, and I am not heartbroken, but I am also not happy with the result, right? I don't think it's a huge deal. Wolves is a very solid team. Playing away against them is going to be a tough matchup either way. And United played well, could have won the match. Pogba missed the penalty. It is what it is, right? It's one early in the season. You got to move on. It's like frustrating to drop points already and just be like, oh, it's all right. But it is what it is. And for me, it's more like United fans, I think it's giving them a taste of reality. Where are we really at? We're competing for the 4th position. In terms of what Solskjaer did, I don't know. He doesn't have very many options off the bench, in my opinion. Like, I don't think Pereira is a viable option. Greenwood's too young. I don't think they really have that many players to plug in, and I think he just has to really work on just their system in terms of their midfield. Lingard is hit or miss. Mata's hit or miss. You really have to kind of find which one, and Pereira is also hit or miss. Find which one's having the best form and plug them into the 10, because right now none of them are really cutting it, but if you can find the best option, that would be better. In terms of Pogba, decent match, got into dangerous areas on the pitch, kind of took it upon himself to try and carry United, and he failed when it mattered most, but it was a good sign to see him a little more interested and enthusiastic than last week. So I thought he had a decent match. Martial, excellent goal, great finish. And then they should have closed out quicker on the goal, but what are you going to do? I mean, that was a fantastic finish, and Wolves played amazing, countering, like not being afraid to go at United, and I really rate that because there's so many teams that sit back, and Wolves have proven that if you really do go at a club and you have some quality like they do, they can really make a statement, and I think they're competitive for that 6th position against Chelsea as well. So that is my analysis from this week. Thank you guys for watching. If you enjoyed today's video, make sure to drop that like, hit the subscribe button for me. Really working on putting out these This Week in the Premier League videos regularly. I feel like it's a great series, and I'm working on adding a little more humor, fun to it every week, because I don't want to force it, but I also want to make these more enjoyable for you guys, show a little bit more of my personality rather than being this stiff analyst. I want to really just have more fun with it. So I really appreciate all the support, and if you guys could subscribe, leave a like, comment, that would mean a lot to me, and let me know how I can improve stuff as well. So thank you and take it easy. Peace.